Alright, so this is gonna be what are Sky Sports F1 trying to tell you? Well, because I remembered that when this intro was dropped by Sky Sports, it kicked up a bit of a furor. I mean, people made some noise about it. Perhaps I might be able to elucidate to you as to why that was. Hopefully. I mean, I don't consider myself versed in this stuff at all. But I mean, you know, let's just go on this ride together. Let's try out this type of video and let's see what happens. Now, first thing to understand about animation, I mean, most of this thing is animated. First thing to understand about animation is that anything that makes it into the final cuts made it there on purpose. It's been placed there on purpose by someone. So here, the first shot of this advert after the garage opening, you've got the circle spinning on the screen in the background. Now, why have they chosen a circle? Could represent the sun. Could represent eternity, infinity. Some circles, I suppose, it could represent the Ouroboros, especially the iteration of it they have here. But something else it perhaps represents is the sun. Right, the sun that gave all the energy for this Formula One thing to be happening. And what this is functionally is the Sky Sports are letting slip what the god of F1 is, right? The circle, the sun, the wheel. We'll get to that. And now from the sun, the discovery of the circle and all of that, we move to the wheel, perhaps the greatest technology ever made. Well, at least so far, at least. But perhaps the greatest technology ever made, the wheel. Alright, revolutionizes everything. And here they specifically have the car start off with the wheel coming into focus, coming into realization. That's an interesting choice. Could have been the engine. Something worth noting, I mean, this was on the previous screen as well. They have the 01 in the corner at the desk. Here it's in the top right of the screen. This is the Champions car being made first, because the Champions car is the standard for the rest of the grid. Anyway, that's probably a little too tinfoil hatty. And now they've got the car coming into view. I mean, this is just these are just some vanity panels. I mean, nothing happening in here really matters or has any type of esoteric or occult value. Well, I might be mistaken on that, but nothing really jumps out from the word go. You know what? I was mistaken on that. There is something worth noting on these vanity frames. It's not real. It's not really vanity frames anymore. But anyway, the thing worth noting is that the decals on the car, the decals, they are red and blue, and red and blue is another divider of the game. All right, there's the black and white, and there's the red and blue. Are you red team, blue team? Are you black team, white team? It is what it is. I'm not saying there's any good guys or bad guys. I mean, they will serve the same god at the end of the day. We'll deal with that as we get through this video. Alright, so the first driver that they have come into view is Fernando Alonso, and I mean, the driver selection is interesting here because it's not, they don't have a full grid of drivers to work with like the F1 intro. There's logistical reasons that can be given for that. I'll have other reasons, we'll get to them later. But it's interesting that they open up with Alonso. I have him as the sleeping giant. He's in the sleeping giant role. Following Alonso, we've got some of the other drivers selected for this intro. Mick Schumacher. I have him representing the Son of God role. We'll get to that. Daniel Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Carlos Sainz. They perhaps jokers in the pack, but as always, we'll get to all of this once we unpack a few more of these. Then we've got another vanity shot of the car or the engine. Closes out on the rear wheel. Of course, that circle motif, wheel motif is coming back. And now they've got a selection of drivers up again. This, I suppose, set alarm bells off for me. They've got the double helix there. I guess it could represent the double snake if you wanted to. But they've got the double helix there with the drivers. You can take that a lot of ways. I guess the canon reason that they'll give you is that they're writing history, right? But they've got the double helix there, just denoting that the whole space is controlled. Okay, it's controlled through various means, but the double helix is just to solidify that this is a double snake area. The double snake represents rebirth and renewal, or in some instances peace. I mean, the canon reason they'll give you is peace. It's rebirth and renewal. So there's not going to be World War III, and this is the re-imaging of Formula One taking place right now. After that, they got Starboy Norris and Starboy Russell. Norris has the star in his eye, notably it's the left eye. He's Chaos aligned. It's whatever. It's Order versus Chaos. White, black. It doesn't really matter. It's not important, right? This is just how the board is being explained to us. And George Russell, he gets the glove. The glove denotes importance. So Lando, he gets the eye. He gets the star in his eye. George Russell, he gets the glove on his right hand. Order. Okay, there's the right hand of God. There's the left hand of God. There's the right eye of God, and the left eye of God is all sort of just symbology at the end of the day. But George Russell is worth noting. He gets the glove on the right hand. So he's an important character for the narrative this season that Sky is setting up. Okay, and then we've got another vanity shot of the car leading into Leclerc having the cross on his back. I can't quite identify which cross that is specifically, but he does have a cross on his back. Why they've put that there is anyone's guess. It could be that he is sacrificed to one of their gods or something, but let's rather not speculate on all that. Let's just note that he's got a cross on his back, and someone had to put it there on purpose, and someone higher up than that person had to okay this thing that they were doing. What's noteworthy here is that they have cast Lewis Hamilton as the villain of their narrative. And why do I say he's been cast as the villain? Because he cocks his head back. That's him being in a position of power. This is before the cars are out. Mind you, this could be before they even know what the cars, what the performance variables of the cars are gonna be. So there's that. It's just interesting to note they've cast him as the villain. I mean, pay attention to the commentators. Bloody hell, Rosberg was hella gassed at Imola. Just hella gassed. But pay attention to the commentators. They will play into this as well as to who is cast as the hero, the villain, and so on. Just pay attention to that. And then, of course, the human side, you know, all the human parts of this advert closes out with Verstappen in the car already. Right, it's the champion's car that was being built at the start. That's why it's the 01 car. Haha. Look at these animators, aren't they so clever? But it's the champion's car that's been built. He's already in the car before anyone else gets to be in the car, and he goes to test the car. Whether that's what actually happens or not, it's anyone's guess. Okay, it's anyone's guess. They can do anything behind closed doors nowadays. Best not to speculate. Just drive yourself insane. And at the end of the advert, um, advert. Well, it might as well be an advert. Functionally, it's an advert. But at the end of the advert, they've got the checkered flag. That's interesting too. But they've got the checkered flag denoting that this is a game board. Alright? They've got the checkered flag there to denote that this is a game board. Black squares, white squares. And there's a game being played, and the game concludes when the checkered flag flies. That's what we're doing here with this F1 thing. There's a high level game being played, a high level meta game being played. We're seeing some fallout from it with this Abu Dhabi thing. Yeah, and that's really all. That's all F1. That's all Sky F1 are doing here with this intro. They have to tell you a bit of what they're doing, you know. So for me personally, this is all alleged. This whole video is alleged, right? But for me, I believe that all the drivers in this intro are MK assets. Whether they are or not remains to be seen. If they are all MK assets, it would be interesting, I suppose, that Latifi isn't on that list. But it would also be interesting that Zhou Guanyu isn't on this list. Although I suppose either he wouldn't be on it as a rookie or some other reason. I suppose the canon reason that they'll give for there only being select drivers there is just by whoever has their headquarters nearby. Alright, that's what they'll say. Of course, the drivers are having to fly in from Monaco or Switzerland or wherever they're staying to shoot this thing. But I digress. And another point worth noting: the drivers were asleep before being activated. This is why I sometimes call this the plug and play formula. I have to get some more observations to see if that's actually going to turn out to be real. But I refer to this as the plug and play formula. Alright? And yeah, that should be all. I suppose one detail about MK assets before people start questioning the logic. I mean, MK assets can fail. Just because you're some MK Ultra mind controlled race driver doesn't mean like you're gonna be good at it. Doesn't mean you're gonna be good at it, right? I mean, there's MK Ultra athletes everywhere in basketball, in football, and in American football, in certain athletic events, and in the Olympics. They're everywhere. So just being an MK asset doesn't mean that that person's gonna be good at this Formula One thing. Doesn't necessarily mean that. But I digress. One small thing I want to expound on is relating to the sun motif, the circular motif. It's sun and moon, alpha and omega, and the double helix signifies all human history, influences behavior, and the future. So, you know, I would take that as they write the future. but anyway, the sun and moon is alpha and omega. It's an interesting motif. It shows up a lot over the video. Of course, it has to. Anytime there's a wheel, it's functionally showing up. But there's even the point where Verstappen is in the car, and the car is getting ready to pull away, or it is pulling away, and you cut to the engine, and you see the fan of the engine on the drive shaft. It's spinning. It's also a circle. It's also, you know, you only get that technology with discovering wheels and all of that. So anyway, this is just what Sky Sports are telling us. Alright, I gotta have a CMA in this video some way, so everything in this video is alleged. This is a creative commentary, I suppose. And yeah, I'm not affiliated with Sky Sports or F1 in any way. I'm just a fan making commentary. And yeah, I hope that covers my ass. I ain't trying to whistleblow anything. Anyway, peace.
Hell breezy. Let me show you how to keep the dice rolling when you're doing that thing over there, homie. Hey, let's go! Cause I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop. Cause you know I gotta win every day. Go! See, you really wanna pop me. Go! Just know that you will never flop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. Go! You ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come a nigga gotta set it, then I gotta go and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing a nigga think that he be doing, cause it doesn't matter, cause I'm gonna dead it. Then I'm gonna murder everything and anything about it. Boom, about a bing. I gotta do a lot of things to make it clearer to a couple niggas that I always win, and then I gotta get it again and again and again. And I be doing it to death, and now I move a little foul. Nigga better call a rap, and everybody know my style. Niggas know that I'm the best when it comes to doing this, and I be banging on my chest, and I bang in the east, and I banging in the west, and I kinda give you more, and I will never give you less. You will hear it in the street, and you can read it in the press. Do you really wanna know what's next? Let's go. See the way we on it, and we all up in the race, and you know we gotta go now, try to keep up with the pace, and we struggling and hustling and set it, and I get it, and we always gotta do it, take it to another place, gotta taste it, and I gotta grab it, and I gotta cut all through this traffic just to be at the top of the throne, but I know I gotta have it.